Heyo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast, presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. I'm Sean Anderson. Welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast. I'm your host. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And it's an exciting day as we have the crew back together.
Yay.
Back from Nashville, back from Phoenix, back from my stay at, a certain hospital. It's just been, it's been a good time. I'm glad we're all back in the same room.
I'm having trouble getting past this. I'm not really even sure what's going on over here.
Vinnie, I'm not trying to, ruin the magic here. You've seen it for 2 hours. You've been here for 2 hours. You've known I've had the tinfoil hat on for 2 hours.
Peking duck later on? What the hell's going on?
You called me out for it, even though the time hasn't passed. The time has now passed. Let's introduce the panel first. Alongside me with today is Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, wearing the Tom Petty shirt, which we love to see. And the man in the middle, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
At Ecknerwall23. I let you say the hello this time.
It's right there.
Good. At Ecknerwall23. There you go.
If you're watching. If you're listening, you'll be confused.
Yeah, if you're watching, you won't be too confused because you could see the tinfoil hat on my head. If you're listening, it's more of a visual bit. I'm wearing this because yesterday after the show, I guess even during the show, I signed off by saying Michael Conforto will be a White Sox tomorrow.
I didn't know why you did it then, and I still don't know why you did it now.
Well, because delusion, my friend. Michael Conforto is not a White Sox yet. It's 2:07, and I said at 2 p.m. he will be a Chicago White Sox. I tried to call my shot like Babe Ruth, and what I'm going to say is Thursday's not over.
Yeah, but you said the parameters before 2 o'clock. He'll be a White Sox. He's not right now. It's very, very disappointing that I got my hopes up because you said it.
Wait, but is there any sort of indication that he might be soon?
So I'll let you into the conspiracy lab here. So
I'm not sure I wanted this when I asked that question.
Maybe this is a good icebreaker. Let's see how crazy Sean is. But this is recent too because we saw Trevor Story sign. Jeff Passan just released a story that Trevor Story, one of his big hiccups in signing was getting the COVID vaccine, but Boston is where he wanted to play, and he ended up getting vaccinated after he signed a 6-year, $140 million deal.
The hiccup being that in order to play in Toronto this year, opponents will need to be fully vaccinated. The Boston Red Sox do a lot of playing in Toronto.
Yes, they do. Boston and Toronto, a very, very important matchup in the AL East. So that is definitely more important to the Boston Red Sox because they'll play Toronto more. But even the White Sox, they've shown that they are looking for 100% vaccination rate in their organization outside of the players that they can't force to get vaccinated, like the MLB the players under the MLBPA. They cannot be forced to be vaccinated, but the White Sox team employees who are not under a union, they have a vaccine mandate and they have 100% vaccination from what we hear. Our old friend Shane Reardon from 670 Score said he was talking with a White Sox player who said there was a theory that the White Sox have the best offer out on the table for Conforto, and that one of the stipulations is that he needs to get vaccinated for him to sign. I think that it's pretty weird that Carlos Rodon never got a qualifying offer extended to him. I think it's weird that Scott Boras is Michael Conforto's agent, and we have not heard any rumblings at all on where the top free agent is going, and still haven't. The more and more the free agent market develops, it is very, very quiet. The White Sox love to work in the quiet, in the dark. I just think that it's very, very possible the White Sox have the best offer on the table, that the stipulation of him needing to be vaccinated is true. And we are 2 weeks out now from opening day. April 7th is 2 weeks out. So if you're going to get vaccinated, you need to get over those symptoms. You need to get over all that stuff so you can even play with the team. So I think there is time that is running out for Michael Conforto. And if he's going to sign, I think it's soon. He can't change positions like Trevor Story did. That's part of the reason why Boston signed him, so he could play second base along with Xander Bogaerts, and then he's Bogaerts' insurance. I just think that it's possible that Conforto will sign soon, and I think it is possible that the Sox have the best offer. Therefore, tinfoil hat.
But this is all just guessing.
Oh,
so
yeah, this is
tinfoil hat.
I tweeted it out.
I prefer to deal in, a little bit of reality here.
Well, I'm sorry you work with me. I tweeted it out too. It was I tweeted out the picture of Charlie Day in It's Always Sunny with the checkboard behind him, trying to figure out who Pepe Silvio is. Like, I'm trying to figure out why Michael Conforto hasn't been signed yet, and I think that there's enough conclusions for me to draw that Michael Conforto will sign soon. And I guess that's the closest conclusion that I can come to. You guys are looking at me like I am crazy, so I
mean, you're wearing aluminum foil on your head currently, so you're giving us reason.
I mean, I just don't like the long yes. Like, either say yay or nay. Come on, Michael Conforto, we're adults here. We have things to do. And the White Sox have things to do. Like you said, 2 weeks from now, they'll be playing baseball. It's actually the Friday, so they'll be playing on the 8th versus Detroit. They'll be playing baseball. Let's get getting ready, Michael Conforto. Either yay or nay on the White Sox. Move on. And the White Sox should feel the same way. I understand that he would be an awesome addition and make that lineup even more dynamic than it is right now. And then he's a right fielder, an actual right fielder. That would be great. But at a time, you got to say, hey, man, the juice is not worth the squeeze. I can't deal with this. You don't want to get the damn shower. Bye.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, again, I think the deadline is running out for him to get vaccinated and signed before opening day. So I think that his clock is running out. And I do think that it's possible, knowing how the White Sox operate, that they've probably had the best offer on the table since November. I just don't see that, there's not a market really kicking up for him. The market's fairly slow on him and quiet. I just don't understand why that's happening. The only way that I could think is the reason why the price isn't being driven up is because he has this one stipulation against him, and Scott Boras, I think, wouldn't want to be like, this is a big stipulation. He might not be vaccinated. It might be a bad look to push that out on your client, I guess. It's not something you want to put out to the public, I think.
Yeah, this is a lot of leapfrogs for me. I mean, absolutely. I'm just saying, do we know, is it out there that he's not vaccinated? Is it out there that the White Sox have even made him an offer?
The Mets, it's not out there that this is all, again.
This is a lot of guessing is my point.
There's a lot of guessing. This is a lot of pulling at strings. Again, I trust Shane Reardon. He's been able to break a couple stories before, and he's not tweeting out anything. So he wasn't really, this isn't like a sources say that they have the best offer on the table, but he says, just talking with a White Sox player, this is a theory that they have. So I'm buying into the theory that they have it. And I think, along with your questions about, him being vaccinated, he did say that last year, after being affected with COVID, that it was a personal choice, or that it is someone's personal choice. He didn't say yes or no on being vaccinated. He was also the Mets player rep. So, the union stance is that there are no mandated vaccines, right? That they don't want to get that, put that precedent out there because the owners will then want everyone to get vaccinated so they can avoid missing games. I think Conforto, it is very highly possible that he is still unvaccinated. So it's something that we've talked about on the podcast before. And, I don't know. Brandon says not vaccinated, comp pick detached. Conforto's market is tanked. I don't see why it has. I mean, again, he is only
those reasons that Brandon's given. That's why his market is tanked. Like, if the White Sox still have the best offer out there, and I was talking about this on Tuesday, they have the best offer. They're a contending team. What's the holdup? Like, if it is hard and fast, you have to get a vaccination. Move on. If he hasn't decided by now, bye. Like, we can't wait for you to be a responsible adult. If that's what the White Sox want, and if that's the deal that's out there, either go to the White Sox or go to a team that's not requiring that.
And the tea leaves are saying that, Michael Conforto might not sign anywhere. Like, there's no rumors that, this team's interested, that team's interested, this team's interested. It just seems like a completely dead market, which makes no sense having the super agent that he does.
Well, I'll just say this. Again, you're bringing up a lot of ifs here, but I'll
say
this.
This is the if podcast.
The way that free agency has worked in recent years, there's always a guy like this stuck at the end. And we saw it in 2019 with two guys who are now on the White Sox, in Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell, where, they have that draft pick attached to them, and teams said it's not worth it. We don't want these guys who are all-star caliber players unless that draft pick goes away, and nobody signed them until June. And so I think that this is becoming kind of a free agency trend where there's always kind of someone left at the bottom of the barrel, even if they're not the bottom of the barrel guy. I mean, we're talking about all-star level players here, but this seems to happen where all of a sudden it turns into the market just flips completely, and it's like now the teams are just like, well, we're only going to sign this player on our own terms.
And I understand that July 17th this year is the time where the compensation for the picking of Michael Conforto. So if the White Sox sign him on July 18th, then he would be coming with a second round or compensation pick.
My theory, and it is based on ifs, it is saying that I do think that the White Sox have had the best offer out on the table since November. So I think that, again, it might be too much, and I just don't think that the draft class that's upcoming is that important where you need to keep that pick. It's a second-round pick. Everyone that I've talked to, which is just Josh Nelson, who covers the MLB draft, says that this is one of the weaker drafts in probably the last 10 years. And also, this is a championship caliber team.
Right.
Losing a second-round pick and $500,000 should mean nothing to fill out the right field position that you're willing to spend $22.5 million or whatever on, because it has to be more than Castellanos or Schwarber or, say, a Suzuki at this point.
Well, and that goes for every team that isn't the White Sox also. You know what I mean? Like, when we're talking about signing these guys with the draft pick attached to it, if you're trying to win the World Series, who cares about the draft pick? I mean, listen, if you're a middling team or a rebuilding team where that draft pick is going to be your starting name a position in the next 5 years, okay. But when you're trying to win the World Series, and there's a lot of teams besides just the White Sox who are trying to win the World Series this year, who cares? Yeah,
and that's what Rick Hahn even said too. Like when answering the Rodon qualifying offer part was, we'll stay in touch with them, and yes, we'd like the draft pick, but it's not that important to us. So they declined a draft pick already with the Carlos Rodon qualifying offer. They could have extended a qualifying offer to him. If the Giants signed him that deal, they would have picked up a draft pick. It doesn't seem like the draft is that important to the White Sox. So I don't think that there is right now any other team outside the Sox that have a better offer. I think that the Sox, and you mentioned you thought that they were going to bring in a right fielder, tea leaves. Yeah. Again, I don't think that's changed. I don't think the market has changed enough to where Conforto now has no offers or isn't being considered by teams. And
but he's not the only guy out there. I mean, I don't have a list in front of me, but I'm just saying, and because there are trade acquisitions that can happen too, obviously. But I mean, there's nothing out there saying that the White Sox have even made an offer reportedly. So,
right, but that's typical White Sox fashion, no?
Well, it's what they would like if that's exactly what they're doing. But so we're talking like I said, it's a lot of ifs.
A lot of ifs. But if they've had the
hypotheticals,
if they've had the best offer since November, it would make sense that it's been kept quiet since November. Just because why would Scott Boras want to go out and drive up an offer that is already the best? And the only reason why it's being stalled right now is possibly an if his vaccination status doesn't align with the White Sox. But just to go through I'm not moving on. Just before the free agent market currently, John Jay is available, Matt Joyce is available, Brett Gardner's available, Juan Lagares is available, Ian Desmond is available, Brian Goodwin, Dexter Fowler, Mark Payton, Jared Dyson, Adam Eaton, and Michael Conforto.
Yeah,
one of those names is not like the other.
Right. Those guys are not starting caliber players. Yeah,
but
right.
You guys were talking about the White Sox not caring about the draft, and look at their roster. I think only 3 of their starting 9 are players they drafted: Tim Anderson, Andrew Vaughn, and if you go with Gavin Sheets. I mean, you could put Adam Engel in there too, but he's a part-time guy. Then the pitching staff, absolutely none on the starting rotation that they drafted. So they've seen our drafts haven't been that strong, but the players that we have a strong feeling about, they'll make it, like Andrew Vaughn. They'll make it like Gavin Sheets. They'll make it at the Cubs with Nick Madrigal. Those guys were drafted. So you have the majority of the players on the team either picked by free agency, international, or the regular free agency or trades like Lucas Giolito.
Let me ask you this and we'll move on from it. What's the biggest hole in the theory?
The biggest hole in your theory?
Yes, absolutely. The fact that he hasn't signed.
Is that
that there's no proof
that you're assigning that he is not vaccinated.
Right. You're just making making stuff up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily making stuff up, but I can fairly say that I have no proof on his vaccination status.
Yes, exactly. So your whole theory crumbles if he is vaccinated.
That's true.
And which we will never know, really.
Well, I mean, we did find out about Story after he signed the deal, so I think that it is possible that
we'll never know because he's never signing. He's just going to be out of baseball forever.
And again, too, like you mentioned, him signing by July 27th, or July 17th, like he's just hurting his value at that point. Like Carlos Correa was able to get a deal done with many options that benefited him. Trevor Story was able to get a deal that benefited him that matched Javier Baez's deal that he signed before the lockout. Like the market isn't dead. It's only dead for Conforto. Like a lot of the names, the big names, have signed. I feel like it's unlike 2019 at least.
Well, it's also we don't know that it's dead. You know what I mean? Like it could just be taking a while, kind of thing.
Yeah, but like again, this is Scott Boras. Like, why is it taking a while for this guy specifically?
Maybe Conforto's like, you know what? I'm leaving the Mets, and we're not signing that qualifying offer, and I'm not signing for anything less than this, and I'll stay out. and I could just chill out. I have enough money just to chill out. I've been in Major League Baseball for 6 years. I've accrued enough money. And, yeah, if I don't get the number I want, I'll do it again. Maybe I'll sign with a lesser team, build my market up for this year, and then go again. That's if I was advising Michael Conforto this late in the game, people already got their right fielders. The only one I think are the White Sox, who are contenders, that don't have a right fielder that has played right field in major leagues for at least 150 games.
Right.
So, yes, sign with another team that you can build your market up again. And I think the White Sox are the perfect team to do that. But tinfoil hat man over here thinks that he can't sign unless he has a vaccination. So I would think that would be bad business for the White Sox. One good thing for the White Sox that is gone in this offseason is signing good players. No one went against the Kendall Graveman thing. No one went against the Joe Kelly thing. No one really went against the Josh Harrison thing. When those things happen, maybe it was a collective, okay, fine. But no one's like, that's a bad player. Why are we signing him? Sign Michael Conforto. You know, if you have those stipulations, you have a really, really, not piss poor, but a mediocre offseason so far, I think. So a Michael Conforto signing or somebody else, those names that you usually put out there, they're tough. But even if you sign like Dexter Fowler, somebody
Please.
like,
No.
I can get there. But
No.
But their offseason so far has been very lackluster. So
And
a signing of Michael Conforto would turn that thing all the way around for White Sox fans, at least from my perspective.
And it just feels like, again, Rick, the way that he's talking about this team, it still feels like they're looking to upgrade. It feels like they're still looking at right field. It still feels like it's a possibility because he's still out there. And maybe, Babe Ruth called his shot in the 9th inning. If the game went to extras and he still hit a home run, would he still be cool?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, absolutely
Thursday's not over, everybody.
No.
The best way to support CHGO and my tinfoil hat addiction is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. And you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a first-time deposit of $50 or more at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. PointsBet is your home for live in-play betting, and it just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's newest feature, the live college basketball same-game parlay. You could take advantage of that tonight when you're watching the tournament. And my favorite part of PointsBet is you can boost your odds on your live same-game parlay. You could do that once a day. It's a daily boost. PointsBet wants to help you maximize your earnings, and you could sign up easily right now. Mobile sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Plus, during PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. During each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Herb, you pounded your athletic greens is what you're telling me?
Yeah, I do it every day, every single day.
But you were telling me you ran out, no?
No, never.
Okay.
No.
Oh, you still got
I took some on
travel
the road
packs?
with me. Yeah, they have some athletic greens to go. It says AG on it. You know what the AG stands for?
What does it stand for?
All good.
Oh, there you go. Our next partner has a product that Herb and I literally use every day. I started taking AG1 because this is my first full-time job. I wanted to start getting in a schedule. AG1 helps me get my body started the right way each and every day. I've been on it for now, about 3 weeks, and I love it. It doesn't taste super healthy. It tastes, kind of like, orangey, tropical, not super overpowering.
Yes.
Just pretty mellow. You put
Delicious.
a scoop of it in your water, and it just
8 to 12 ounces.
8 to 12
I
ounces.
used to go with 12.
You like a more watery mix?
Yeah, exactly. And it's nice little, you shake it up. It pretty much dissolves all into the water, and it goes down real smooth.
Yeah, and absolutely.
And the gut health, man, I'm telling you, man. Cleared out.
I can't lie about it. The gut health has been a nice part of this too. I don't know, maybe it was just because I was eating, poorly when I was unemployed, but AG1s has helped me get my body right.
And when I went to Nashville, I was eating a lot of bad food. So starting off the day with AG1, perfect.
There you go. With one delicious scoop of AG1s, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, or dairy-free. And Athletic Greens has over 7,002 five-star reviews, the other two coming from Herb and I.
Yes.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day, like Herb said, 8 to 12 ounces. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Sox. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO SOX to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Thank you, Athletic Greens. Let's move into our icebreaker. It's a little bit late because we got on the whole Conforto topic, and my bad on that. I didn't mean for it to be a 20-minute conversation. It just happened. We'll go into old friend alert. Rick Giolito slid into my Twitter mentions yesterday as I was talking about his son Lucas's little back and forth in arbitration here with the White Sox. And we talked about this on the show yesterday, Vinnie, along with Kevin Kaduk. And Rick wants to just explain what happened with the Sox and Giolito, and we'll also explain what Rick Hahn said and try to give you more insight to what's going on. Rick said there are two phases. First is pre-arb negotiation. So the Sox and Luke were $50K apart, $2.4 million to $2.45 million. No agreement. Second is actual arbitration. Team and players submit new number amounts to the arbitrator. The Sox lowered their offer by $100K. Lucas raised his by $55K, thus the $200K apart. Lucas mentioned in a pool yesterday that there was a $50,000 difference, but when Mark Feinsand of MLB.com reported the numbers that were given to the arbitrator, it was 7.5 and 7.3. So that's how we got to $200,000 apart in Rick's prior tweet. And then he went on to explain it would be ridiculous to arbitrate over $50K. Can you go back to that? I'm sorry. $50K, the arbitrator would say, what the fuck? I don't appreciate the Sox lowering their offer almost as twice as much as Lucas raised his. Luke was trying to be fair. Sox trying to punish him for not taking their offer. So I don't know if the Sox are trying to punish Lucas Giolito, but we look at the history of the Sox. The arbitration cases that happen are few and far between. Since 2000, they've only had 3. It was Yolmer Sanchez, I miss Avi Garcia yesterday, and then Keith Folk back in 2001. So this is something that they tend to avoid, and we see the back and forth there. But again, they are only $200,000 apart, and it feels like something that they can get done fairly easily. Herb, I'm going to start with you just because you missed yesterday. What's your thoughts on this whole back and forth between Giolito? It's sort of playing out in the media and Twitter, and then Rick Hahn had to make comments that we'll get to in a little bit.
Names you just had, Keith Folk, you said Lurie Garcia. Like those, Yolmer Sanchez. Like you can say that about those players. You can do that to those players. Like Keith Folk was the closer of the White Sox at the time, and Yolmer was a good part of the White Sox, but neither were the front-facing, one of the leaders on the team in Lucas Giolito. Like, you're that close. You're $50,000 apart. Give up that money. It's Lucas Giolito, and it does wonders for the people down the line. Like, okay, Dylan Cease's a couple of years away. Man, they're fair dealing. See what they did for our leader, Lucas Giolito? Man, they're going to be fair dealing with me, too. Now, it seems like they're bickering over $50K and now $200,000. I was asking you guys before the show, I'm like, why not already, seeing what Twitter and White Sox atmosphere has been? Hey, Lucas, sorry about that. Here's the $200,000. You want 7.5? We're all good, man. Let's forget about that. That hasn't happened. It's been a day and a half of bad news cycle for the White Sox, and people who are usually Rick Hahn people or Rick Hahn stands are jumping off because they're like, man, what this offseason? What is this? And why are we treating Lucas Giolito like this? Why are we playing him to the left? I think you have to pick your battles. And Lucas Giolito, and if ever they have a conversation with Tim about extending his deal, and Jose Abreu, you have to pick your battles with those guys in particular. And then, if you want to be stingy and keep your money and the negotiation tactics for Michael Kopech, who I assume is going to be a star eventually, but he's not Lucas Giolito as yet. You do that for him. Lucas Giolito is not a guy that you have a $50,000 difference with and then walk away. It's ridiculous. And Rick Giolito right there with those comments to you on Twitter inflamed it even more. I think he explained it perfectly, but like for the White Sox side, that's exactly what they don't want out there. They don't want the player's dad to be saying what's going on without you having a chance to respond. That's a really bad look for the White Sox yesterday, where Rick Giolito came out and explained the numbers.
Yeah, Vinny, the Giolito stuff is just interesting. You talked about it's probably more important in the long term, which I think at least the Giolito side of Lucas and Rick, that's what we're really seeing. Because in the short term, it feels like a pretty easy, $200,000 difference.
You would think. I mean, I think my reaction to this is still, this is weird. And I think there has to be something about this that we, as collective baseball people who aren't working in a front office or in an agency, don't grasp 100% of the way. Because this is, I think we saw yesterday, national reporters who were tweeting out these numbers all day long kept going, now you're going to see that teams and players are going to be filing at very similar numbers that are very close together. And I think every common sense person among us just went, well, then just meet in the middle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Forget Lucas Giolito, the list of players throughout the entire major leagues, just everybody meet in the middle if you're not far apart. So the process is weird in addition to this situation being weird. Obviously, as I talked about yesterday, you don't see players come out and gripe about the way things are going with their front offices when it comes to arbitration negotiations and stuff like this. It's a rare thing to see, and that's what you don't want to see. Again, I think the long-term effect is the far more important. It doesn't matter maybe necessarily as much whether we understand the intricacies of the dealings, the negotiations and that stuff, because guess what we do understand? How Lucas Giolito is feeling right now. Right. And when that comes to making sure that he can stick around in a White Sox uniform before he hits that free agent date, or even after, if they were able to sign him, re-sign him, that is not what you would think is a positive step in that direction. And so I think, we've been talking since before yesterday, when is Lucas Giolito going to sign an extension? Could he sign an extension, or is he going to go to free agency and go to another team? Well, this is really amplifying that conversation now, which is a shame because as you see with all of Lucas's comments, he's very focused on the season coming up and very focused on, quite frankly, driving that value up by having a good performance. So it's all weird, and it's you wonder if it will have any sort of long-term effect. I think as you point to Rick Hahn's comments here in a moment, he is confident that stuff like this going wrong, if you want to call it that way, does not always have that negative effect, and that's certainly easy to believe as well.
And we'll shed some light more on even the contract stuff as well, but let's go to Rick Hahn's comment as well, because you mentioned that it did draw up a lot of questions. So Rick Hahn even came out to speak with it. It didn't feel like this was even a pool of Rick Hahn. I know you weren't down there, but it didn't feel like Rick Hahn had a pool meeting. These were the only comments that slipped out or that were tweeted out by the media. So I think he did give comments to writers down in Arizona just on this specific case, right?
Yeah, again, I wasn't down there. Obviously, I was here with you, but my guess would be that there was a request made by the writers who are down there to follow up on this topic, because obviously you hear Lucas's comments and they are one-sided for obvious reasons. You want to go ahead and get both sides of that, and that's what several of the writers down there were able to get from Rick Hahn. Yeah,
and all the stories have this quote, so I'm assuming, and there's no other quotes from Hahn, so I think that he spoke specifically about this. So it is interesting just to see, after Lucas's comments, that Rick spoke up about this, and he said that I think that our track record of winding up in 2 hearings over the last 20 years shows that obviously we're motivated to get something done with any of our players to avoid a hearing. As for the perception that could potentially cause a longer-term issue between us and Lucas, I don't view that as the case. We've had, and as I said, a long, successful history with Lucas and a deep relationship with him, and I certainly don't think this is going to have, regardless of any result, a negative impact on that relationship going forward. We're $200,000 apart sitting here today, and it seems to be a small gap. We'll see where things go. I certainly understand being frustrated. We're all frustrated. That's the nature of negotiations at times. That is the negotiation or the nature of arbitration negotiations. It feels like GMs don't like it. It feels like owners don't like it. And it definitely feels like players don't like it, especially when they reach those cases and they have to say and argue for themselves, this is why I'm worth this type of money, where this the Sox organization, the team that you've been for, at least for Lucas's case, 5+ years now, than them going, well, we think you're worth a little bit less. So it is definitely a nasty part of baseball. Hopefully they can figure it out before it even reaches an arbitration case. Like Rick says, 2 cases in the past 20 years. I think it's 3 because I think it was Garcia, Yolmer, and Keith Folk. But I think Rick Hahn would know.
2001. So
yeah, that's more than 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Point.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then there's only been 2, so that's good to know. Well, then 3 since 2000. But listening to that, Herb, are you worried about the long-term effect that this could possibly have?
Yes. I mean, the White Sox didn't come correct with a offer to one of their stars. I think to hold hard and fast to the 50K difference they had is very ignorant, very pig-headed. I don't think they needed to do that with Lucas Giolito. They have 39 of the 40 people signed for this year, and Lucas is the one that's out there. That doesn't make sense to me. And if they don't get this done before the arbitration hearing gets done or the arbitration hearing gets heard, that's on the White Sox.
Yeah.
That's 100% on the White Sox. It's $200K for one of your people that you keep on telling us is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I don't know why in the hell we're here talking about this. It's so penny wise and pound foolish. It's just so dumb. Just pay him what he wants. Now, when it comes to negotiation for future, if you want to extend him, get into the nitty gritty. But this is a bad thing for nothing. For nothing. You got him. He's on your team. Okay, Lucas, cool. You want that extra 50? Fine. Fuck it. You're on our team.
Right.
Cool. I'll see you in a couple years when we're trying to get a deal done for extension.
We're talking about days. We're talking about days worth of pay for this guy. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, what's the number? 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5 compared to 7.3.
Okay,
those are the 2 numbers that were filed.
$50,000 for $7.5 million.
Right.
You're talking about a matter of days, days worth of pay.
Exactly.
For this
I've
guy.
seen someone say you could just put something in guaranteed rate field called
and
Gio's Garage, and that'll make
$200,000.
Yeah, that'll make $200,000.
Yeah, if they want, they literally could say, "Hey guys, we don't have that. Can you do it?
Right.
We'll all pitch in. To buy beer." Souvenirs,
especially when it's $50K. I'm not going to release my salary amount, but that's more than I make. Especially when it's like a $50K difference, it's pretty insulting for a regular fan. But again, I'm not too worried because this is arbitration. I don't understand arbitration. Baseball arbitration is messy, and since it is $200,000, I think that they can close that gap fairly easily. But you brought up an extension, and this is from James Fegan. He was reporting, and in his report today, he said, sources indicate that last spring the White Sox offered Giolito a contract extension before the 2021 season, which would have taken place of the $4.15 million deal he and the team reached for in his first arbitration eligible season last year. There was no drama with that. They just agreed to the $4.15 million deal. The contract offer was for 4 years, $50 million guaranteed. That would have bought out 2021, 2022, and 2023, and his first year of free agency. The offer also included a club option for 2025. Obviously, they did not get a deal done, but that deal is in line with German Marquez's extension with the Rockies, and that is a deal that is in line with Aaron Nola's extension with the Phillies. So I think that it's interesting that they've had that conversation, but again, you've brought this up before. Gio knows his worth and is going to get as much money as he possibly can, even if he does love the Chicago White Sox and the organization and the fans.
Yeah, I think the guy, that's the one guy you don't want to mess with on the roster. They have the history of him having up to 30 seconds before the deadline with Mike Rizzo, and he's like, no, I'll just go play at UCLA. Cool, if you don't give me the money, I'm at UCLA. That's what he's going to do with the White Sox. Arbitrator's going to say either Lucas's offer or the White Sox offer if they don't come together. And Lucas will be cool with that. And then when it's time for free agency, I remember you got $50K? Cool. You guys don't have to pay that back. This is me with the tinfoil hat like you, Sean. I think, to come out, to come out in the media and say, I'm disappointed. That doesn't happen. And his dad to come out on Twitter, you didn't ask Rick Giolito for an answer. Yeah. He was willing to give you an answer. Does he follow you? No. Was he just out there searching for his son's name? And he answered your question. They want that information out there for some reason. this is going to be a tough negotiation with Lucas Giolito, and you ruined what you had before with him. Like that little snippet of goodwill, it's gone. I feel that same way with the Cubs and Chris Bryant when they did the slow play and manipulate his service time. People are like, Cubs will have him for 7 years. Look at where he's at now. He's with GD Rockies. Right. That relationship was ruined early into the negotiation. And now Lucas Giolito, $50K, now it's at $200K, ruined a relationship over pennies in baseball parlance.
I mean, the White Sox can make it up. It's not like,
I wouldn't
they could come to an agreement.
Yeah, yes. I wouldn't call the relationship ruined, but certainly this is there where it wasn't there before. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think, listen, Sean, you've mentioned it already today. We talk about it all the time. The White Sox prefer to operate when nobody's paying attention to them. This is why. This is why. Stuff like this, right? Rick Hahn doesn't want to have to go out and address every little thing that gets reported and every little thing that the opposing party might do. I mean, we've been, we're not too far removed from Manny Machado, going on that public tour of ballparks around and cities around the country to see which place that he would want to sign. That's a headache because the way that news works today is that every little bit of that process is a headline, and to have to react to that on a constant basis or to have mid-negotiations steered away because of the public reaction to every little bit of that is not what they want. And so I think people can look at this, realize how it's making Lucas feel, realizing how it's making them feel, Herb, the way you just reacted, and say, man, I really wish I hadn't heard any of this at all.
Yeah, and I don't blame it. I mean, Rick talked about that in his expanded comments, too, that he made on this Lucas stuff was that, I want to present you a baby, and I don't want you to have to see the labor. I don't want you to
He uses that line quite a bit.
He used it again. Rick Hahn playing the hits. I think that, again, it does get messy when stuff like this happens. It is negotiations. I've never been in negotiations in my life. I've heard that they're messy, though. We saw that play out between the MLB and the MLBPA. And Lucas is the player rep for the White Sox. And Brandon mentioned this, and I don't know if this might be tinfoil as well, but Gio passed on the extension, which we mentioned, 4 years, $50 million. This is a consequence of the decision. They're playing hardball. Gio is gone after 24. Business is tough sometimes. I bet Gio also has a bad taste in his mouth after the way he saw the owners negotiate. Not specifically Jerry. We don't know Jerry's part in the lockout. But it is probably something where, again, Gio has been pushing that envelope salary-wise ever since he was getting into the league. And he's going to continue to push on that envelope year in and year out. I don't know if it has short-term effects, but long-term, I think that clearly we all agree that it definitely something here has caused a little bit of a schism, but nothing money can't fix, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. So, I mean, hey, like AC/DC said, money talks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if they were, if they offered Lucas 55 for 4, maybe he would have taken it. If they offered him 60 for 4, maybe he would have taken it. But in comparison to the deals that were out there, German Marquez, $43 million for 5 years, Aaron Nola, 45 for 4 years. They're similar-ish, especially with the arbitration numbers that ended up coming. Nola made 4 in his first year. Gio made 4.15. Nola made 8 in his second year. Gio is bound to make 7.3 to 7.5 this year. So in line with the deals that are out there on the market. So I do think that at least if that is the rumored report, the Sox aren't truly screwing around. That's a good first offer if that was their offer to Giolito this offseason. Let's talk quickly about PointsBet and their pick of the week. I got to tell you that I am pounding the Texas Tech money line tonight. Cody on the CHGO Bets Daily podcast picked Duke, and I'm betting against the narrative. You know what? I'm going against Cody. I want to see him lose. That means I win. So we're going to use PointsBet. We're going to take the money line, minus 110.
Oh, snap.
We're going to go with Texas Tech to take down Duke tonight.
All right.
And if you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us to continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email PointsBet@allchgo, and we'll help you out. And in case you you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you could start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for once the game starts? Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Let's go Red Raiders. And, I'm trying to win money. I'm at $1.05 in my bank at CHGO.
Push it all in?
So, yeah, I'm pushing it all in. I push it all in every night, especially with how low I'm at. I can only make 2 bets with the minimum. And this is CHGO. We're broadcasting live from our CHGO Studio A. You can become a member at allchgo.com. We're going to bring you free podcasts, live shows, post-game shows all throughout the season. All 3 of us. We even have Janice Scurio on our White Sox team, and she'll be joining us, throughout this season. But if you want that extra push, if you want to join the CHGO Lounge, if you want a free shirt upon becoming a member, and if you want the the premium written content that's behind the paywall at allchgo.com, the great articles that Vinnie wrote out at spring training and all the stuff that he'll be doing all throughout the season, you can check that out. Become a member at allchgo.com. Again, the podcast, live shows, those are all free. But if you want to really get in deep into CHGO, allchgo.com is where you become a member. All right, guys, final topic. We got about 13 minutes here. It's the title of the episode. Is Tim Anderson the best shortstop in the AL Central? Let's see if we agree. Our top 3 here. We'll go into just the rankings right away because we all agree on the rankings. This is the CHGO White Sox podcast, top AL Centrals, shortstops. We got Carlos Correa 1, Tim Anderson 2, Javier Baez 3. We all agree. So at least let's start off easily. Vinny, I don't think we've talked to you about Carlos Correa yet. What are the Twins getting in Correa?
I think the White Sox saw it last year, right? They are getting a guy who, really when he's healthy is one of the best players in baseball. I mean, can do it all with the bat, and boy, can he play defense. I got a front row seat to every game the White Sox played in Houston last year. I was down there for that awful regular season series where they got swept in 4 games. Terrible. And I was there for, obviously, the playoffs. And Carlos Correa, man, is unreal on defense. He is a guy who is literally taking hits away. I mean, you talk about that's the goal of defenders in the field, take hits away to help out their pitchers. This is a guy who's got the range and the glove and the arm to literally take hits away from people, and he was doing it to the White Sox on a fairly regular basis, if memory serves. So they're getting a very, very good player who is obviously now the best player on that team, might be the best player in the division. All of a sudden, but yeah.
My favorite part is that you brought up his defense right away when he hit 385, 592, and 538 in that series.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, he has an OPS over 1,000.
And that's what stuck out.
And his defense is what stuck out.
That's
he kicked the Sox ass,
of course
trying to say.
And he kicks a lot of teams' ass. I mean, he is. The thing is, we have seen him exclusively, basically for his entire career, as a member of a very, very good team. I don't think that Carlos Correa by himself is going to turn the Twins into the best team in the division, or maybe not even turn them into anything better than the 3rd best team in the division. We'll see. But it's obviously a phenomenal addition for Minnesota, and it is going to cause the White Sox headaches. We'll see how big those headaches are once the games start being played, because he is only one player. But the things that the Twins have done definitely make you take notice, and Correa alone is a guy who probably can win him a game here and there against not just the White Sox, but any number of teams.
Absolutely. And they got 2 of those guys now with Buxton, if he can stay healthy, and Correa. So, I mean, it's dangerous, your weird-ass Minnesota Twins.
They are.
As long as the pitching comes around.
That's probably not going to happen unless they make a trade.
Sonny Gray can only go once every 5 days.
Exactly. And I just think about Carlos Correa, and we're talking about that series the White Sox lost in 4 games. Game 4 specifically, where Carlos Rodon gets out of the first inning. It was a tough one. He was, hyped up because we had the 99 pitch or 99 mile per hour pitch. We're like, all right, here we go. Carlos Rodon is back. And then it was nut crunching time, and Carlos Correa's up. He was batting somewhere deep in that lineup, like 5th or 6th. It was ridiculous. And Carlos Rodon threw a 94 mile per hour chest high fastball. I was like, cool. Carlos Correa's like, delicious. Murdered that ball to left field and scores a run immediately. I was like, game's over. It's been real. It's been real. I thought we had a chance in game 4. We didn't. That's a champion play right there. And so, yes, like Vinny said, they got Buxton, they got Carlos Correa. He's probably the best player in the division now, Carlos Correa. 27, can leave after this year, so he's on another walk year. So he knows he's going to be like, okay, I'm making 35, some other team next year might match this up and give me the years I'm looking for. I'm not going to be in Minnesota for long. I would be shocked if he's in Minnesota past November this year. And so he's going to go out and try to get it some more money. And I'm very scared. I'm very, very scared because if you get the health of Miguel Sano, if he's not a knucklehead this year, and you get the health of Byron Buxton, they might not beat us with the pitching, but the hits are going to come, and it's going to come furious. And I'm not enjoying that trip up to Minnesota when you have Carlos Correa batting third and Byron Buxton maybe second or first, and then Miguel Sano hitting fourth. It's a nice start of a lineup. The rest falls off the table, but Gary Sanchez can catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, and you look at Correa, too, just as his true resume, former World Series winner. I know that has an asterisk against it, but also two-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner, Platinum Glove winner, and in 99 games in 2015, he won Rookie of the Year, hitting .279, .345, .512. That's a pretty damn good rookie year. And I know we have Brandon bringing up the F-War seasons, but also you look at the B-War seasons, you look at Baseball Reference, he's had a season of 7 WAR, 6.7 WAR, and just had a season of 7.2 WAR. Those are all-star level. That's close to MVP level. Tim Anderson, Javi Baez has never, they have not produced to that level, that high of a level where Correa was last year.
And I'm not going to speak for Vinnie, but I guarantee if we're talking about Tim Anderson, we're talking more about his bat and his leadership more than his defense. Now, his defense is good, not great. He gets to a lot of balls.
Right.
And I wouldn't sacrifice him getting to a lot of balls for better defense, put those in quotes. But he just talked about Carlos Correa because of his defense. And he's a champion offensive player, too. We're never going to start Tim really gets to a lot of balls. That's why he's the best shortstop in the AL Central. No. We're going to say, yeah, he gets to a lot of balls. Enjoy him. He makes plays that some can't make. But defensively, I would 100% take Carlos Correa over him. 100% take Carlos Correa over Tim Anderson, and offensively, there's no doubt there. Tim is a good bat. Carlos Correa is elite bat. Elite.
And I think that Tim could become an elite bat. He's shown flashes of having an elite bat, and the more and more he plays, and we've seen his story now. I watched the first episode of Tim Anderson's documentary that the White Sox put out. He is still fairly young in his baseball career. You look at when Correa started, I mentioned started back in 2015, and Anderson starting in 2016, but really not becoming the full-time shortstop for the White Sox until that 2017 year. So you can make the argument, that Anderson's played less baseball and that he still has some of his better baseball ahead of him. And it feels like the incremental growth year to year from Anderson defensively is really going to carry him up. I do think that if you're taking a guy from right now, and maybe not based off their career, but Tim Anderson at 28 years old and Javi Baez at 28 years old, I'm taking the rest of Tim Anderson's career over Javi Baez's career. I know that Baez probably has a better resume, but I think Correa has shown that he's at a different level, that he's the elite of the elite, worth $105 million over 3 years, where Anderson, I think that his best baseball hasn't come just yet, and that's why I put him second.
Hey, I think TA's place on that list has nothing to do with TA.
That's
true.
It
has everything to do with Carlos Correa, I think, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy who, in Correa, who's the best at his position in the game. If you're Tim Anderson, you can be great and excellent and an all-star and an MVP candidate and still not be the number one shortstop in baseball. Now, knowing Tim Anderson, he's going to want to be the number one shortstop in baseball. But my point being that Tim Anderson is fantastic, and him being number 2 on that list is not a slight, in my opinion. Herb, everything you said, I agree with in terms of his skill set. But here's what I'll say to kind of crystallize it. Carlos Correa is the best shortstop in the division because he's the best player on the Minnesota Twins. Tim Anderson might not be the best player on the Chicago White Sox. He is the most important player on the 100%. Chicago White Sox. I don't think Carlos Correa is maybe the most important player on the Twins because he's the best player on the Twins. TA is the most important player on the White Sox because of all of the things that he does for the White Sox, not necessarily because you throw the baseball cards down and you say those numbers on a blind resume, that's what is the best, right?
That's a great point because I think that you could even make the argument that Correa isn't even the most important player for the Twins just because Buxton's health is so important to their success. If he's injured, before July, Correa might get traded. That's a possibility. Where you can look at Baez and you could look at Anderson now. Baez is going to be there for 6 years. Anderson obviously wants to be the face of the South Side. those two guys are probably, you can make the argument which guy is more important to their team because Baez is now the face. He's now the most paid player on that team. I guess you could argue Miguel Cabrera, but
yes.
I feel like right now,
I think if everything goes right for the Tigers, Javi Baez doesn't need to be the face of the Tigers because they've got all these young guys who will be your Eloys and your Roberts and your Moncadas for the Tigers. You know
right,
what I mean?
but I mean Baez has been a guy that has been on the national spotlight for years now. You know
why?
Why?
It's somebody in White Sox Twitter made this up. It called him Slidey McTaggy. That's it. Like he's a great slider, and he tags people creatively.
I'll tell you this though, that's okay with me. Because man, I've said it before. White Sox fans won't like it because he used to play for the Cubs. But I don't think there's a more fun, exciting player to watch in baseball than Javi Baez in terms of that highlight reel kind of thing. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's going to have his stretches where he's just striking out all the time and he doesn't hit anything. But my point being that no one's going to give you a more like whoa moment on a more regular basis than him, and I think that's pretty valuable, especially as baseball's trying to grow into more of that kind of a sport.
I mean, we could see it last year where I was like, just step on goddamn first and he's out. And everybody and their mama, what a play by Javi Baez. Like, he dribbles the ball down the line. Wilson Contreras finally comes around. All they had to do is step on first. The play is over. The inning's over. That guy's not in Japan now. That guy, like, who made the play at first base is now in Japan or Korea. Like, they kicked him out of the league. Like, he died of embarrassment.
But it was fun to watch.
And he got the out still.
It was fun to watch.
He still got the out. I mean, like,
no, he didn't get the out.
Yeah,
they didn't get the out at all. No. Remember,
did the Pirates score?
No, the Cubs scored. It was Javi was at bat. It was a
right.
little short,
Okay.
little dribbler, and all they had to do is step on first. Instead, the first baseman's running Javi back to home plate, and then all of a sudden Wilson Contreras scores, and then they forget that Javi, and even after all that, all they had to do is throw to first base, out.
For some reason, I thought the Cubs were on defense in that play.
No.
But, no, I mean, I don't know, like. They still scored a run. He still did what he was supposed to do. Like, I don't know.
It was kind of awesome.
He has the best.
It was
Javi
awesome,
Baez
but it
has
was
the
like
best-
because the Pirates are dumb.
Yes, but
Counts either way.
Literally, I was yelling at the TV. I was like,
look
touch first.
Look who has the
done.
lowest payroll in baseball. I think it shows that the Pirates are a bad team.
Bob Nutting's a bad owner.
I would agree with that. I think
and
that
a terrible last name.
Like, yes, Baez has the best and one mixtape of any MLB player, but like I agree with you. Like, if you're watching 162 games, I would rather watch Tim Anderson than Javi Baez just because of those stretches that Baez can go through.
Well, and also too, if you have a rooting interest, you're going to want certain outcomes to happen, right? I really don't care what the outcome is on a Javi Baez play. I just want to see it happen.
That's fair. And as long as I would like to see.
And I forgot his mortal enemy is back in the division that he's in.
Yeah, Amir Garrett.
Amir Garrett's a Royal now. Who he should be scared of Luis Robert because Luis Robert's ball is still traveling that he hit last year off of Amir Garrett. Mercy.
I missed that. I missed it. Was that in Great American Ballpark?
No, it was at guaranteed rate. It was a fastball, probably 95 miles per hour. And like once you see it, like my visceral reaction to it was like, whoa! Sorry about that, Steven, and everybody at home. It was so crisp. The bat crack was so crisp, and he hit it almost to the concourse.
Yeah. I typed in Luis Robert. It's the third video.
Oh my Jesus!
Oh yeah. Okay.
He got
bottom 8.
every stitch of that ball, every single stitch, and I'm glad that Amir Garrett's back in the division so we can eat a little bit more. And the Royals, baby, let's go.
Yeah, I remember this one now. It went all the way back behind the bullpen, basically third row until the concourse. What's been the most majestic home run you've seen in person? Now, you've seen the Yermin one. I'm guessing you saw that Robert one. You saw the Eloy one that hit like the Jim Thome center field spot.
That's I'd say that's the one that was against the Nats. That Eloy to dead center, bounced on the stairwell of the fan deck to the left of the fan deck. That was something else. I'll tell you what though, the coolest home run I've ever seen. Again, White Sox fans are gonna be mad because it's a division rival. But 2012, I covered the Royals in Kansas City. Spent the whole year down there, and there was a game where the Royals were losing 1-0. Greinke threw 8 innings shutout. And it was 1-0. It was when Greinke was on the Angels. Okay. Then the 9th inning, they bring the closer in. I believe Ernesto Frieri, if we remember that name.
Digging in the crates for that name.
Back-to-back home runs, Billy Butler ties it 1-1 in the ninth, and then Sal Perez off the foul pole for the walk-off home run in a game that they had nothing. I think they had one hit through 8 innings, and the back-to-back. That was my first introduction to a complete rewrite in about 5 minutes to get the game story up at the end of that one. That was pretty impressive.
Glad that Billy Butler hit it off of somebody else. Jesus.
Damn, I'm trying to find. Was it
Him and Mike Sweeney just murdered the White Sox.
2012?
Joe Randa. Just naming
Royals.
So
Random Royals.
So I'm sorry, I got
Sox.
distracted. I know we got to wrap this up, but he pitched against the Royals twice. In KC.
That was his homecoming with 2 different teams.
Yeah, in Milwaukee and LA. He lost the first game 1-2, and then he lost the second game 3-2.
Yeah.
So he went 7 innings in that first game with Milwaukee, and then went 8 innings, and then lost both of them.
And if I remember correctly, the Milwaukee game might have been a walk-off too.
Let me see.
I don't remember. Now I'm getting way too down the rabbit hole.
They took the lead in the 8th.
The 8th inning. Okay, there you go.
And K-Rod gave up the lead. And Ernesto Frieri blew the save. Billy Butler hit his 27th off him, and then Sal Perez hit his 11th
Ernesto Guy Frieri.
He wore his shades on his back, gave up a big-time home run.
All right.
Welcome to Home Run Town.
Before we wrap this up, is there any way Tim overtakes Carlos Correa, or is it just until he leaves the division?
I mean, Carlos Correa is capable of having a bad year. Tim Anderson's capable of being an MVP type player. I don't think either of those.
You could base it off of one season, though, is what I'm saying. Like, if he has a great 2022 and Correa has that bad of a 2022.
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing the whole career thing, maybe not. But I mean, listen, those are the kind of things that vault you into elite status, winning an MVP or being an MVP type player. And I think everybody up here and many of the people listening would agree that Tim Anderson is capable of that kind of thing.
Well, we saw that in 2020. I thought Tim Anderson, up until the last 2 weeks, was in contention with Jose Abreu for MVP. He was doing everything for the team. We saw when he left the team that year how lifeless the team was, and when he came back, instant offense. Like, that can happen again. You can have Tim Anderson. I think just the next step in his progression for offense is just become a 20, 25, 30 home run guy. I think he can get there. He has enough power. We see his power to right field. We saw the home run in the corn game, as Tony calls it. That's power.
Yeah, through his first 35 games in 2020, 358, 400, 581. I mean, even if he doesn't have the power numbers, like 25 home runs, if he's getting on base like that ridiculously, has a batting title, leading the league with that slugging too, he definitely can win an MVP. And looking at the guys, Anderson has the lowest finish in MVP at 7. Correa just finished 5th. Last year, and then Baez had a second MVP finish, but that was back in 2018. So, Anderson, at least again, I think that he is, out of all of those guys, the most on the up, or at least, has the most ceiling, or at least highest roof. The ceiling is the roof.
It is
Michael
the
Jordan.
roof. Yeah, it is. I get you. Yeah, like Correa's almost at his peak.
Yeah,
and he's still like.
It's a high peak, though.
Yeah, his peak's up there.
His peak's MVP. All right. Well, it was a fun discussion. Tim Anderson possibly could be the best shortstop in the AL Central, but the Twins had to go sign Carlos Correa, that cheater from Houston.
Guys, as the adage goes, though, best ability is ability is a.
Best
best
ability is available.
There we go.
We got you, Steven.
Carlos Correa, since 2017, I'm going to subtract the COVID season, 109 games played, 110 games played, 75 games played, and then last year he played 148.
Yeah, but I totally understand your point, but still, WAR is just based off of how many games you played, and Correa has put up better seasons playing less amount of games than Baez and Anderson, and still has been more valuable to his team, even though he's been less available.
And that's why I think that Yasmani Grandal is a better catcher than Salvador Perez, because his WAR was higher than him in half the games.
Right.
It's enjoy your 50 home runs. That's
caught 162 games.
Your empty ass calorie 50 home runs for the damn Royals. Who cares? Yeah. My man was doing 23 home runs on a team that was competing, and he was better. He was a better catcher. If we look at F4, Salvi Perez can't even light a candle to my man Yas.
Right. If the White Sox don't have Yasmani Grandal, they don't win as many games as they do. And Grandal was worth more WAR than Salvador Perez's 162 game output. That's why the White Sox finished so far ahead above the Royals in the AL Central.
They lost the series to the Royals, didn't they?
Yeah, 9-10.
Son of a bitch! I hate the Royals.
The season series.
I think I hate them the most.
I think I think about them the least, but I hate them the most, I think, if that makes any sense. Because I feel like the Twins, the Tigers, Cleveland have been breathing down our neck.
I don't even just like. I actually enjoy the Tigers. It's weird.
Is it the park?
Yeah, the park and the people were so nice to me that when we went there, I was like, "This is a night." I root for this team when they don't play the White Sox. They're good people. And Miguel Cabrera, I mean, he's had his off the field troubles, but as far as being a hitter, he's one of the best right-handed hitters of all time. So I just have an affinity for that team. I don't hate them as much. The Royals and their fans are dicks. Same thing with the Twins. The Guardians, I don't care. Enjoy your stadium mustard.
Yeah, we don't think about them because the low payroll teams. You know what I'm saying? Herb,
they still have that man though.
We got top 10 payroll.
Still got that man.
We're not thinking about
that he might be the best player in the AL Central. Jose Ramirez.
Yeah,
mercy.
Especially and imagine if Toronto trades for him. Yikes.
I don't know.
Then we have to watch and see if he can play second base. That'd be interesting.
Go ahead, please do that, Guardians. Immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Nick Madrigal play second base. I think that Jose Ramirez can figure it out. He's played there before, right?
I mean, wow, what the hate for Nick Madrigal?
I didn't mean to
Slamming
sideswipe him,
Mickey
but
Magic.
I can't talk about second base prowess as the Chicago White Sox. I mean, the last great one was Juan Uribe. Am I missing somebody?
Well, he was a shortstop, so that would have been even
sick.
more challenging.
Good job.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Alexei.
Also a shortstop.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I was thinking Alexei was playing shortstop and Uribe was at second for some reason.
I mean,
it was
he might have played
Gucci
second for a little bit.
The World
but,
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly a shortstop of the White Sox.
Thank you for watching the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. I was hoping Steven was going to chime in and be like, Michael Conforto just signed with the White Sox. That would have been great.
Damn it, Steven,
I was looking the whole time. I was.
I know you were, man. We appreciate Steven Nicholas's production today on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Got to thank Vinnie Duber for his contributions. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. You can follow the man in the middle, Herb Lawrence, at Ecknerwall23. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow about if Carlos Rodon dominated the White Sox in a spring training game happening at 3:05 today. I don't know why I ended it like that.